All right. Well, first off, Nick, I want to say thanks for joining us here on the Canadian Bowler Podcast. It's a pleasure and an honor of ours to have you on the show. So thank you very much for coming on today.
No problem at all.
Question I like to kind of start with whenever I interview people is just for people out there who might not quite know who you are. Who is Nick Brett?
Yeah, well, firstly, hi everybody, and thanks for having me on. And I'm Nick Brett. I play lawn and indoor bowls over in England. Been lucky enough to play on the World Bowls Tour and be in the Bowls England elite squad for the last, couple of years in the elite squad for sure. Last 10 years on the World Bowls Tour, which has given me a great deal of pleasure playing against and with some of the best players in the world. And I've been lucky enough to win a few events on the World Bowls Tour, which has kept me up there in the top 16 for the last 10 years. And more recently, been selected to play in the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in July 22. So really looking forward to that.
I'll give another couple quick hits here. Gold in the 2000 British Isles Championship, 5 World Indoor Bowls titles. You were named to the 2020 World Bowls Championships, but obviously that was postponed, cancelled, however you want to look at it. And then obviously named to the 2022 Commonwealth Games team for England. Just looping on that, we're both on the opposite side of 40, and seeing how your career has really skyrocketed over the last 5-10 years. Obviously, you had the viral video and have won a tremendous amount of things and are always either near or in the final for all the WBT events. What was the feeling of actually being named to the Commonwealth Games being played in England?
Yeah, like you say, I've won probably my share of stuff over the years, whether that's as much or more than anyone else, I don't know. But getting selected, with the talent that England have to pick from for a home Commonwealth Games, probably, is one of the things that you would have on your bucket list to do, but it's controlled by other people, selectors, team managers, other people's opinions. So you can only do what you can do. And hope, and as luck would have it, at the moment, I've probably done enough over whatever the 2-year period it is we've been in selection process for to gain a spot on the team. So super excited to get going, really, get to the event. We've obviously got a lot of preparation before then, but over the moon to get selected. Like you say, I'm probably the wrong side of 40 now, and but really looking to take my chance when it comes.
So I've got to ask you, Nick, with myself kind of being pretty deep into the social media aspect of everything we got going on here, what was it like to be arguably the most famous and viral lawn bowler of all time?
I don't know about the most famous, but certainly the bowl I played has gone viral, that's for sure. And whether it's even the best bowl ever played, I'm not sure. But I guess with the commentary and Greg's telling me what he wants me to do, and luckily I managed to do it, and with the crowd involvement, it's probably the whole package. But like I said, I don't think it was the best bowl ever played, but with all of it in, it certainly gained momentum and attraction from the social media side of the game.
We in North America, we rarely see anything bowls related. It's a relatively small sport. Obviously, hockey, basketball, baseball all come into it. But we saw news articles, we saw video, a lot of stuff come out about that bowl. What was the media hype and kind of that whole moment when the video went viral? And did a lot of people contact you? Were you just flooded with interviews and whatnot?
Yeah, well, firstly, I was playing, and I can't remember whether I played the next day or the day after, but I'd gone on the green. Phone was pretty normal. Come off the green, I had something like, I don't know, 100 messages or something like that, and then all of a sudden, loads of people contacting the World Bowls Tour for me to do interviews and stuff, which I duly did, radio, TV, from various parts of the world and the UK. So, yeah, the next week was kind of a bit insane, to be honest, whilst still in the world singles at the time. So, yeah, it got a bit hectic there for a while, and then after the tournament, I went back to the club, and I think I did tried to reenact that bowl for the Times newspaper. I think it took 10 or 15 attempts to get anywhere near trying to do it again, and yeah, pretty hectic there for a week or two. But then luckily for me, it slowed down a bit and got back to a bit of normality.
Fair enough. Well, you've had a pretty amazing run in the World Bowls Tour over the last number of years, and you've become one of the top players and occasionally a commentator. For those players aspiring to be on the World Bowls Tour, how hard is it to consistently do well in events like that?
Yeah, very difficult. I mean, before I was in the top 16, I probably spent 10 or 12 years trying to qualify to get in the top 16. So it's a long, hard road, but it is possible. It is possible to get in, and I'm probably one of those that thought, well, difficult to get in. I'd qualified a dozen times, not won enough games against the best players in the world to get enough points to get in. Then luckily I get in. Then all of a sudden you're playing against the best in the world all the time, and you've got to find a way to win. In my early events, I was winning games but not winning the second game. So just trying to accumulate wins against the best players in the world is really, really difficult. You got to try and find out what your best game is and what they do. It's not easy because they've not got many weaknesses. So I just tried to play the best I could all the time, work out what the rink's playing like, what's the best shot to play on the rink, and the best shot for you to play, because what other people play isn't always the best for you. Some people are better at a draw in a certain circumstance, and some better at playing a runner, and it might not look like a runner. So really trying to find your feet pretty quickly against the best in the world. My only strategy is I try and play as best I can in every game, and sometimes that's enough to get over the line.
So you're speaking about the fact that it took you so long to just crack that top 16, and now you're in it. What does it feel like being on the opposite side, where everybody's trying to take your spot now?
Yeah, I've been the hunter, if you like, and I suppose when you're in the top 16, you're one of the ones that are hunted. But again, you just have to try and play as best as you can every time you play. You can do no more. Yes, and it's easy to say some you win, some you lose, because when you lose, it's not great. But just try to play and give everybody the respect they deserve, because everybody's had to qualify and they've all had a long route to go through to get in. So really is an easy one for me. I just try and play as good as I can all the time, and the ranking points will take care of themselves, because you can't think too far ahead. It's just in sets play. You've only got to lose one set, tie breaks anybody's, and then away you go.
The World Bowls Tour, it's a pretty big event, and we don't have much like that over here in North America, but we do get to see a lot of it online on Facebook and on YouTube, and they seem to rack up a pretty impressive number of viewers. What do you think that the World Bowls Tour means to the game of bowls as a whole? Well,
TV and social media and Facebook coverage is key. People need to see the game. Otherwise it's almost in the background. If you can't see it on whatever it is, Facebook Live, social media channels, or in the BBC or wherever we're broadcasting, if it's not out there, people will think it's not available to access. Whether it be playing or watching. So it's desperate. The World Bowls Tour, need to get it out there. And there was live streaming outdoors at national finals at Leamington for us this year, which is a first for a long time. So all of those social media channels and where it's viewed need to be out there, because you're competing with loads of other smaller sports really, and in coverage, because it's it doesn't get a great as coverage as what football, cricket does. So we're competing for a small amount of coverage, and you've got to get as much out there as possible to keep people interested.
That's fair. We've often argued on the show that, but we love the WBT. We watch it. We cover it. It was one of the first. I'll say it's one of the first in that space of bowls to do YouTube and Facebook and really get out there and do that kind of stuff. But we've often argued that we think the WBT could have done more and could be bigger, and some of the rules kind of restrict them. We've been really happy to see, I guess in a small way, the dress code changes, where it's not just white pants and the same shirts, and that they've have a new event. What do you think about the WBT trying to expand, and do you think that there's room for them to grow even bigger?
There's always room to grow bigger. And yes, it is great to see another event, and hopefully they can get Scotland back on the tour next year, which will be outstanding. I agree. Dress code change, phenomenal. I'm certainly not a big fan of white pants, white trousers, white shorts. I'd much rather be the black side, the black bottoms, if you like, or even if we went radical and had green and red, we'd probably look a bit strange. But I think I'm not a big fan of white, that's for sure. So that change for me is one going forwards. What else can they do? It's difficult because you need to get space in a very busy UK calendar. And attract sponsors to get the event going, and because streaming's not always the cheapest thing to do, or certainly over a week, you got to get sponsors and all the players. I think this event, is right in the middle of English national indoor finals, so even that's not ideal dates for everybody, but probably the only available dates at the time. But yeah, great to have more events, that's for sure. And could there be more like this? Yeah, I'm sure they are trying to make steps to do the same. And Jason plus the board have put a lot of work in to get it get the second event running this year.
So obviously a lot of people across the globe have been kind of struggling with cancellations and events being postponed in all sorts of different sport. But I know for us personally, basically bowls kind of grinded to a halt as of 2 years ago. What have the past 2 years been like for you, and what was it been like over in England?
Yeah, well, we missed I think 8 months. I think we missed 8 months of we play 8 months indoors and 4 months outdoors here. So we basically missed a season of both. So pretty difficult times for everybody. I don't know how everybody coped, but we were Zoom calling each other and trying to do quizzes, and just as a group chats and gets together over Zoom, just to keep in touch, really. I think when you enjoy going out shopping, it's a rough enjoyment, isn't it? We're all locked up for a pretty long period of time. It was very unusual for us that get out quite a bit to be locked up all the time. So difficult times for lots of people. So myself, we were just bi-weekly Zoom calls and quizzes, and talking to each other like that with friends, family, and other bowls colleagues. So yeah, I can't imagine it was a great time for everybody, sure.
Over the last little while, we've had discussion with some Australian players about their preparations for coming to the UK and playing. And obviously they've got a lot of different things they're trying to do to mimic what's like in the UK and the greens and so forth. It's very different. But you being in the UK, in England, home soil, what kind of things are you doing to prepare yourself for Birmingham?
Well, over the last outdoor season, we had a squad of 6. Obviously, you only need 5 for the event, so unluckily, one's missed out. But we played a lot of games, something along 40 games as a team and as a squad not all on the Leamington surface where it's going to be played, but large majority on there, which has seen us, in good stead, playing a lot of games outdoors together as a small group. We've learned a lot about each other and a lot about the surface. And, I think that's what we're going to be doing in the coming outdoor season in preparation for Birmingham. So hopefully that's what, games together on the surfaces will help us immensely against good opposition, obviously.
Just kind of a question I'm actually just kind of curious about. I know here in Canada, there's not a lot of funding or financial support for our national team athletes. We know obviously countries like Australia and such have more funding opportunities. What is that like over in England? Is there much financial support, or do you guys are a lot of self-funding?
To be fair, they cover costs and, meals, accommodation. So I don't expect we lose out, but I don't think we've quite got the funding maybe that Bowls Australia have. I don't know the exact numbers and figures, but yeah, we don't lose out pocket-wise, but I don't think we make out of it, that's for sure.
Do you have any additional pressure or anxiety going into playing on home soil in front of a home crowd?
I've put the pressure on myself over a lot of years. So yeah, there'll be pressure, expectations. Play at home Commonwealth Games, you're expected to do well. That is for sure. But I don't think there's anybody that puts any more pressure on me than me, to be honest. I don't want to let my team down or myself down. So by playing badly, I'm letting both of us down, myself and my team. So yeah, my drive and determination is to play well as often as I can. And hopefully that reaps rewards at the end of the Commonwealth Games, really. So yeah, no, there is pressure for sure, and there'll be added pressure. And that will may ramp up a bit depending on how I start and we start, whether we start good, bad or indifferent. It might ramp up a bit more. Home crowd, hopefully it will be packed. And but there'll be pressure for sure.
What do you think the Commonwealth Games means to Bowls?
Well, it's certainly a great spectacle every 4 years for us to, showcase a massive event on home soil as well. If this is going to be in the public eye, TV are going to be showing every day. So whether it be red button or live, there's going to be games on every day. So what a spectacle for us to show. And if we can do well as well, yes, it's going to be seen by everybody. But if you do well as a home nation, people think, oh, I know these people. I can get, I can do this. I can go down and have a go. So great. It's a great opportunity for us to encourage people of all ages, because it is a sport for everybody to play. It perceived as maybe not a younger person's sport, but it is. It is accessible for all, and we need to get that out there and make it available for everybody to play.
Well said. We definitely agree with the accessibility part and the inclusiveness. We try to promote that as well, and it's good to know that other people are trying to push that forward, because it's such a fantastic sport and it's so underappreciated. It's nice to have top guys like yourself feel that way as well.
100%. I can go and ring up. Well, I've played with Greg when I wasn't in the top 16, and I think he was ranked number 1 in the world. I cannot ring Tiger Woods up and say, fancy a game of golf, Tiger, because it's just not that easy, is it? It's just not that easy. But in bowls, I play against the best players in the world. Yes, I'm in the top 16, but I can do that at club level. Regional level, competitions wise. Catherine, won the world indoor singles, and I've played against her at least twice this season. So you just can't do that in most other sports. And I certainly can't go training with any of the Premier League football teams as easy as I can go and practice with someone at Bowls.
Right. I got a quick question about the English setup. So how difficult is it to get through nationals and actually win a national?
I'd say it is pretty difficult. I'd say it's pretty difficult. You're playing, I mean, I don't know exactly what the figures are, 60, 70, 80,000 people, playing the game indoors and out. I don't know what percentage are entering them. I'm not up on those stats, how many actually enter, but you probably got to win 12 games in each comp to win a national title each year against the best of the best. You can play in strong area, weak areas and get through to national finals, but nobody's weak who qualifies at national finals. And, fortunately or unfortunately for me, I play in tough area indoors and out, which is good and bad because you've had to play good players to get through, but it's not easy to get through because they're all tough games. So, but it does prepare you well for national finals because you've played against good players, and you're in good stead to play others when you get to national finals. So really difficult to win national comps in all of the 4 home nations, to be fair.
There's been a lot of changes to the game, kind of big and small, recently with, like we discussed earlier, dress codes changing and going to the 2 colored bowls at the Commonwealth Games for a visual aid and maybe a marketing opportunity for some bowls companies. What do you think else could be changed to help kind of revive and help the sport grow more than it already is?
Well, I think there's obviously there's not much. We play sets play on the TV, but that's probably the only time we play sets play. I mean, I don't know how that comes across with the general viewing public. Does it make all the games viewable right till the end? Because if you're playing an ends game and there's 10 shots in the game from early on, is it a good watch all the way through the game? Does it drag you in? Sets play probably, if you want, if we're going to go to TV and viewing not rights, but more viewing on whatever platform it's going to be viewed on, TV, Facebook live streaming, all that good stuff. I think sets play is probably not, it may not go down well because I think a lot of traditionalists like the formats as they are, but if you want to get it out there viewed, I think sets play is probably, you don't know who's going to win until the end of the second set, really.
That's a good point. A personal question of mine from, we discussed the viral shot earlier. We have a clip on our site that shows shots before and shots after. And I've often argued that your second shot was better than your first. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think people concentrate on the one that's been viewed a few times, but the second one was more important because if Alex plays his bowl onto my bowl, we're probably 3 down and you lose the first set. So the second bowl is more important, but again, the first bowl is probably got all of the build up with Greg telling me what he wants me to do, crowd laughing because he's never going to get this, and then you go and get it, and the commentary goes with it, doesn't it? So the all round package probably helps the bowl, be what it is. But the second bowl, that probably the first time anyone's ever asked me that question since, is probably the better bowl, because if not, we lose the 3 and probably lose the first set.
Perfect. That just justifies my thoughts on it.
Well, I don't have any more questions for you, Nick, other than what do you think, what's your goal for 2022?
Goal for 2022, and I'm probably going to put the pressure on us here saying that, but having got selected for the Commonwealth Games home games, I think I've got to be shooting for a gold medal, really, and yet probably puts a bit of pressure on me and whoever I'm playing with, but so be it. I'm not going there to come second or third or even lower, to be fair. So I'm going to aim high and do my best to bring out the gold medal at the end.
I don't think there's any better goal than that. We definitely wish you the best of luck. Hopefully I'll be there as a coach for Canada, and I'll get to see you at some point and actually meet you in person. But for me, I have no more questions, but I just want to wish you the best of luck this year and at the Commonwealth Games as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much, and thanks for the opportunity, and hope the video comes out good.
Perfect. Thanks again, Nick.
Thanks, guys.